In the spring of 1945, Berlin lay in ruins. The Nazi regime had fallen, but the city's suffering was far from over. The Allied powers, America, Britain, France, and the Soviet Union, carved Germany into occupation zones. Berlin, deep inside Soviet territory, was split the same way. 4 powers, 1 city. At first, Berliners could cross between sectors freely. But beneath the surface, tensions grew. The Soviets imposed communist rule in the East. The Western Allies built democracy in their zones. In 1948, Stalin blockaded West Berlin, cutting off all ground access. The Western Allies responded with the Berlin airlift, delivering food and supplies by plane for nearly a year. It was the first major confrontation of the Cold War. Through the 1950s, the contrast between East and West Berlin grew stark. The West rebuilt with Marshall Plan money. Democracy and capitalism flourished. The East became a showcase for Soviet communism, but the showcase was crumbling. Between 1949 and 1961, nearly 3 million East Germans fled to the West, most through Berlin. They were doctors, engineers, teachers, the best and brightest. The East was bleeding to death. On August 13, 1961, Berliners woke to a nightmare. Overnight, the East German government began sealing the border. Barbed wire first, then concrete. The official name was the Anti-Fascist Protection Rampart. The rest of the world called it what it was, the Berlin Wall. The wall eventually stretched 96 miles. The most fortified section cut through the heart of Berlin. 12 feet of concrete, topped with pipe to prevent climbing. Behind it, the death strip, raked sand to show footprints, floodlights, tripwires, mines, and over 300 watchtowers. Families were split in an instant. A father working in West Berlin couldn't return home to the East. A daughter couldn't visit her mother. Wedding parties were separated mid-celebration. In June 1963, President Kennedy came to West Berlin. Over 1 million people filled the streets. All free men, wherever they may live, are citizens of Berlin, he declared. And therefore, as a free man, I take pride in the words, Ich bin ein Berliner. The crowd erupted. Over the wall's 28-year existence, more than 5,000 people escaped. They tunneled underneath, crashed through checkpoints in armored vehicles, flew over in homemade hot air balloons, crawled through sewers. At least 140 died trying. The actual number is likely higher. Peter Fechter was 18. Shot while climbing the wall in 1962, he bled to death in no man's land as both East and West German guards watched. His death became a symbol of the wall's cruelty. For a generation of Berliners, the wall became normal. Children grew up knowing nothing else. The West Side became a canvas for graffiti artists. On the East, it remained pristine, deadly. In 1985, Mikhail Gorbachev came to power in the Soviet Union. He spoke of glasnost, openness, and perestroika, restructuring. Across Eastern Europe, people listened and hoped. By 1989, the dam was breaking. Poland held free elections. Hungary opened its border with Austria. East Germans fled by the thousands through Hungary and Czechoslovakia. In East Germany, protests erupted. Leipzig, Dresden, East Berlin. We are the people, they chanted. The government wavered. On November 9th, at a routine press conference, East German official Günter Schabowski announced new travel regulations. Flustered, reading from notes he'd barely reviewed, he made a catastrophic mistake. A reporter asked when this would take effect. Schabowski fumbled with his papers. As far as I know, immediately. Without delay, word spread like wildfire. Thousands rushed to the checkpoints. The guards, receiving no orders to shoot, were overwhelmed. At 10:30 p.m., the gates opened. They came through in waves, walking, running, laughing, crying. Strangers embraced. West Berliners climbed onto the wall. People attacked it with hammers, pickaxes, bare hands. The party lasted for days. The Cold War's most powerful symbol was coming down, not through war or negotiation, but through the will of ordinary people. Official demolition began in June 1990. The barrier that took months to build took over a year to fully remove. Pieces were sold as souvenirs, sent to museums, made into art. On October 3, 1990, Germany was officially reunified, one nation again after 45 years. Today, Berlin is transformed. Where the wall once cut the city in two, only a thin line of cobblestones remains. Parts of the wall are preserved as memorials. The East Side Gallery displays murals on a remaining section. At the Berlin Wall Memorial, visitors can see what the death strip looked like. The names of the known dead are remembered, but the memorial also honors something else, the human desire for freedom. For young Germans today, the wall is history. They've grown up in a unified country, free to travel, free to choose. But the scars took longer to heal than the concrete took to fall. The Berlin Wall stood for 10,316 days. It fell in a single night. It divided a city, a country, a continent, an ideology. Its construction was an admission of failure. Its fall was a triumph of hope. The wall is gone, but Berlin remembers. The cobblestones remember, and the world learned that no wall, no matter how fortified, can permanently divide people who yearn to be free.